Alan Ritchson is done waiting for the world to catch up to him, and Netflix just handed him the biggest stage of his career. The man who turned Jack Reacher into a cultural phenomenon is back, and this time, he's not chasing down criminals in a small town. He's fighting something that shouldn't exist: War Machine. The highly anticipated sci-fi action thriller from Netflix and Lionsgate drops globally on Friday, the 6th of March 2026, and early word suggests it may be the most explosive streaming event of the year. Directed by Patrick Hughes, the filmmaker behind The Hitman's Bodyguard and The Expendables 3 War Machine, is being described by early viewers as a full-throttle collision between military realism and alien assay terror, shot on location across Victoria, Australia, and New Zealand. The film makes stunning use of its remote, rugged terrain, transforming wide-open desert landscapes into something that feels genuinely hostile and inescapable. Hughes, who has spent years building a reputation for large-scale, viscerally satisfying action, reportedly brought an uncompromising physical intensity to every sequence. A creative philosophy that will soon extend to his upcoming remake of The Raid for the same streamer. Ritchson plays a character designated only as 81, an Army Ranger candidate caught in the most terrifying moment of his military career. The setup is deceptively straightforward. A group of elite recruits are deep into the final, punishing hours of Army Ranger selection when a training exercise takes a turn no one could have predicted. What should have been one more endurance test becomes something else entirely when an advanced alien war machine crashes into their remote training zone. Cut off from communication, outgunned by technology they cannot understand, and facing casualties that mount faster than anyone can process, the unit has no choice but to adapt or die. The film carries an unmistakable DNA from the golden age of action cinema. Comparisons to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator have been circulating since the first trailer dropped, and the parallel is not hard to see: a group of elite soldiers, a relentless non-human predator, an isolated setting where no help is coming. But War Machine is not content to simply recreate that formula. Hughes leans into the military authenticity of the setup, grounding the science fiction premise in the specific psychological and physical reality of what Army Ranger training actually demands from the human body and mind. The result is a film that feels both familiar and genuinely alarming. Ritchson himself made no effort to contain his enthusiasm when he attended the film's red carpet premiere nearly a month before release. He described the experience of watching the finished cut as leaving him floating out of that theater, praising the pacing, the emotional core beneath the action, and the collective performance of the cast and crew. For an actor who has been quietly building one of the most impressive action filmographies in the streaming era, the comments carry real weight. The ensemble assembled around him is formidable: Dennis Quaid and S.I. Morales, the latter recognizable from his work in the Mission Impossible franchise, play the commanding officers overseeing the exercise as it collapses into chaos. Stephen James brings a grounded emotional intensity to the Ranger Squad, while Jai Courtney, who has spent a career playing soldiers and fighters, adds the kind of hardened instinct that becomes critical when conventional strategy fails. Kainan Lonsdale and Daniel Webber round out the team, each contributing to the tightly wound ensemble dynamic that gives the survival story its human stakes. Jai Courtney, speaking ahead of the release, offered a glimpse into what made the production feel special beyond the spectacle itself. He praised Hughes as both a filmmaker and a friend, and spoke with genuine enthusiasm about the practical impact of shooting in Australia, a country he believes has the infrastructure, the talent, and the locations to support major international productions. For Courtney, the film represents not just a personal high point, but a statement about what Australian filmmaking crews are capable of delivering on a global stage. Netflix has positioned War Machine as a straight-to-streaming worldwide release, bypassing theaters entirely and placing an enormous bet on a simple but increasingly validated theory that the right film, on the right platform, with the right star, does not need a multiplex to become a cultural moment. The streamer has been quietly refining this approach for years, and with War Machine it appears to be deploying every tool at its disposal. Ritchson's growing international fanbase, Hughes' reputation as a craftsman of large-scale physical cinema, and the near-universal appetite for a survival story that operates at full volume from the first frame to the last. The strategy is not passive. It treats the release itself as an event, one that lives or dies on momentum, on the speed at which word travels between people who have seen it and people who have not yet made the time. Netflix is counting on audiences to clear their Friday night, and everything about how the film has been positioned suggests the platform believes it has earned that ask. For anyone who has been paying attention to Alan Ritchson's career over the past several years, the arc is not subtle. He arrived on Blue Mountain State as a physical specimen with comic instincts, was largely underestimated by an industry that did not immediately know what to do with a man built like a defensive end who could also make people laugh, and then quietly, methodically built a resume that rewrote the conversation entirely. Reacher changed things, not just because the show was a hit, but because it revealed something about Ritchson that casting directors and producers had perhaps not fully reckoned with before. That beneath the extraordinary physicality was an actor capable of carrying an emotional narrative without flinching, one who understood that the most effective action heroes are not simply dangerous, they are legible. Audiences need to understand what a character wants, what they fear, what they are willing to lose, and Ritchson has demonstrated a consistent ability to make all of that visible, even in the middle of a fight scene. That combination is rarer than it sounds. The action genre is littered with performers who deliver the spectacle but leave the screen feeling empty the moment the chaos settles. Ritchson does not have that problem. War Machine, by all early accounts, gives him the largest canvas he has worked with yet, and from everything that has come out ahead of the release, he filled every inch of it. The film arrives on Netflix worldwide on the 6th of March 2026, and whether it becomes the breakout hit its makers clearly believe it can be will depend entirely on what audiences make of it once they see it for themselves. So here is the question worth asking. Are you the kind of viewer who has been waiting for a film that genuinely earns the word relentless one, that drops you into the action and never once lets you come up for air? If the answer is yes, this might be exactly what your weekend needs. Watch it, share your reaction, let people know what you thought, and if content like this is the kind of thing that gets you excited about what is coming to streaming, hit subscribe because there is a lot more where this came from.